Hey, all you podcast listeners, you can find Slice of the Paranormal everywhere podcasts are found, or you can watch us on our YouTube channel.
Hi, hey, hello there, and welcome to the podcast. What's up? I'm Ryan. This is Christy. This is Steve.
Hello.
Hi.
Slice of the Paranormal. This is what we do. We talk about ghost stuff,
Mystic,
werewolf stuff,
werewolves,
cryptids,
lake monsters,
Fairies and banshees.
fairies and banshees.
fairies that take you across the river, or fairies like little.
Oh, well, we've talked about fairies that go across the river before on other episodes, but today we're going to talk a little bit about the fairies that...
Like F-A-E, like Island of the Fae.
Fairies.
Like, that really confuses me. There's
Is that
so
the
many different
Gaelic
ways to spell a damn
pronunciation?
fairy.
Yeah.
F-A-I-R-Y.
Right.
Or F-A-I-R-I-E.
I always
Yes.
I prefer the F-A-E-R-I-E, because it like the Island of the Fae. Like that
That's
goes
more of
back
like
to
the
that.
Irish way, I think,
Yeah,
to write
that's
it, too.
kind of what I like.
Well, that means it's right.
So,
Cheers to fairies.
yay, fairies.
All right, I did not know we were talking about fairies today.
Well, we are.
In addition, we'll be at some point talking about pizza.
Yeah, we'll talk about
yeah.
pizza too, of course.
We do every episode. We review pizza.
But this episode, we went up to Williamsport.
Mr. Bojingles over here.
Mr. Bojingle.
Listen, don't be dissing the hat. Every time we go somewhere and I'm wearing this freaking hat, people are like, "I love your hat."
They do love
It's
the
a
hat.
great hat. It's jingly.
But you guys give me.
It's redeeming. Let me tell you. It's like they
gets
look
us
at
in
you.
places.
They look at you and they're like, and then they look at the hat and they're like, all right,
All right, this guy knows his shit.
okay, all right.
This guy's
legit.
legit.
He must
Yeah.
be into something.
But like the people that give me compliments all day while we're like
They
in
love the
Baltimore or Sleepy Hollow,
Every time, love the hat.
Yeah.
dude.
love the hat.
Nice
you know?
hat.
What they don't realize is
hat.
I'm getting busted on the rest of the whole day by you
You gotta
guys.
even it out, man.
Yeah,
They don't know how much you jingle. That's what I'm telling them
I like
next
the
time.
hat.
you guys get stuck with the jingle all day.
Yeah,
That's what I'm gonna tell him.
jingly. Mr.
Yeah.
Bojingles.
So,
Mr.
yeah, the
Hat
hat gets a lot of
Jingles.
the hat gets a lot of attention. Let's say that.
Word. I like, and you add to it. That's the other thing people don't know is like the jingle is recently.
It gets worse.
Yeah.
It
I
only
bet you're
gets worse.
attacked
New.
by like raccoons
What did the
and
jingle-
ostriches.
Okay, the hat, like for our visitors or guests or viewers that don't know me, I essentially grab an item or a pin or something from every location I go to, and I add it to the hat.
Maybe not every, because that'd be a heavy hat.
Well,
but a
yeah,
lot.
but like I have like a Philadelphia pin
Yeah.
for the Philadelphia sites. I have a voodoo doll for New Orleans.
What about for Baltimore? Do you have
Baltimore? I have an Edgar Allan Poe on the very back of the hat.
anything? What about New Hope?
New Hope? I do not have
All right, so-
a New Hope yet.
See that's what I'm saying?
I have to get a New Hope something.
Slack.
You have Priestley on there, don't you?
I have a Joseph Priestley 250th anniversary
Yeah.
pen.
It's a cool hat. I
I
really
just saw
do
the
like
pin
the
you
hat.
gave us.
I know
today.
we give you a lot of guff, but we both do really.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
I
gave you
really-
guys
we're
the
not.
250th
Yeah, I have it
pen.
on my bag, so it made me think of you. So
But then again, you came and you investigated the Priestley house.
I
with
did.
Me.
That was
So
a lot of
anyone that
fun.
investigated the Priestley house got a 250th pen for that investigation.
Fair enough.
Today's adventure takes us to Williamsport, Pennsylvania.
yeah,
So
Wilpo, as I like to call it, but
You call
no
it
one
Wilpo?
else. No one else does. Just me. Apparently.
Wilpo.
you're gonna start it. It's gonna be a
I'm
trend.
trying
good
to
old
start
Willie
it.
Poe.
People from Williamsport don't like it so much.
Mark it on the calendar. See how many years it takes till the first
Right.
Wilpo T-shirt
Wilpo.
cup is produced.
Dude, it's cool. Wilpo. Why
So-
wouldn't you? Anyway.
It's close to Wilco.
So
Or Delco.
Yeah, Delco, yeah. So, Wildwood Cemetery. Do you guys remember this? We drove up there, and the first thing I showed you...
In Williamsport.
This was
Wildwood
pretty
Cemetery.
early on, Ryan, when we first started going places.
yeah.
I'll remember as you talk. Go ahead.
It was the
was
same day that
warm.
we did our opening sequence for the
What
Yes.
the heck did you just say? Sequence.
sequence.
Oh, sequence.
Or, yeah.
Oh, the day we recorded our
The day
opening
we
sequence.
recorded our sequence.
Lee, shout out. Sorry. Thanks for
Yeah,
doing our
thanks,
opening
Lee.
And helping me with the song as
That was
well.
a lot of fun, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we had a
the
great
song,
day
help
that
us
day.
do the opening intro. So, Lee, sorry. Thanks, buddy.
So, Wildwood Cemetery, when you're driving up to it, and I think it's on Wildwood Boulevard, the first thing you're going to see is the Wildwood Chapel. I think I sent you an image of the chapel. It's a little yellow
I
building.
feel like the chapel?
Yeah, there's like a
Yeah,
chapel
that
image.
No. It's a big building.
No,
Little?
No, little.
No,
Are you
man.
in the New Hope?
No,
Wow.
that's it.
This is not it.
It's in the cemetery?
Yeah, it's in the very center of the road.
That's not
almost.
it. Don't show
I
it.
think it
It's all
is.
good. Go
Okay,
ahead.
so, well, anyway, the cemetery is bisected by the road. So there's a right side of the cemetery and there's a left
Wrong
side.
side.
Kind of a right and a wrong side.
Right.
I mean, you're exactly right because the right, if you make a right into Wildwood Cemetery, you're on the good side. If you make a left, you're onto the evil side.
But isn't it just like a lot older graves too are in the bad side than the right
Actually,
side?
I think I don't know how they're dispersed there, so I can't honestly answer that.
Well,
you
what
go
I
straight?
learned a
You have to
little
go-
bit is that like they still use the good side to bury
They
people.
use both sides. In
But
fact,
they
Well,
don't
who's
really
going to get
use
buried in the
left.
bad side at this point?
Right, that's what I heard, that they
the
don't
site
really use
is
that
like
anymore.
literally 340 acres. That cemetery.
Yeah, isn't it the biggest one in the
Huge.
county?
It's huge.
Yeah.
And the records for the burials only go back to like 1892. So anything earlier than
Oh.
that, you really don't know unless you
It's all
can read
guessing game.
the headstone.
Okay.
So it was founded in 1863. So at least there's graves from 1863 to the 1890s.
Yeah.
That we don't have records of.
Okay.
And like I said, there's a good side and a bad side. So
Who says there's a good side and a bad side?
that's
They
just what
do.
the Lord, they.
They. Oh, man.
They.
I talked to them
Them.
the other day.
So I took you guys originally to the good side. So the first grave we went to.
But you didn't tell us there was a good and a bad
I
side.
didn't. Well, that's my thing. You don't let me tell you these
I know.
things.
Thank you for not telling us.
So the first
Everything.
thing I
Yeah.
take you to is this weird grave. I don't know if you remember it. There were like 5 or 6 portals with like
5 or
like
6
a mausoleum
portals.
that had
I got it. I got a
an
picture.
air
Yeah,
vent.
and
Yeah.
portals, you mean like wormholes?
It looks like a submarine portal.
It is
Oh,
weird. It's
gotcha.
like stone. Do you remember it? It's
I
this
do.
thing.
Yep. Pursel,
Okay.
And
right?
on top there is
Thomas
like
Pursel.
And it
There's
totally.
a vent.
a vent shaft up top.
Yep.
It's because Thomas Pursel, who was
Again, if you're a listener, check out the YouTube to see these pictures.
Thomas Pursel was born in 1854, and this guy was a lifelong firefighter.
Mm-hmm.
He ultimately is also afraid of being buried alive, a very real fear for the mid 1800s.
Interesting. Firefighter, but is afraid of. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, like I'm not afraid of going into a
Good for
burning
him,
building,
man.
but God forbid you bury me and I'm not dead.
I have much respect for firefighters.
Exactly.
Well,
I mean,
and I had heard that on this side of the cemetery, like that's where the like well-respected members of the town were buried on the
Oh,
east
okay.
side. So firefighters were very prominently
People
revered.
honorable.
Yeah, and like people who like helped found the town and stuff, they would have been on the east side when.
the vent kind of creeps me out though, because I'm thinking like if it's ventilating the grave, you could probably smell the dead people in it if you go up to the vent.
Ew.
And, like,
So yeah, for if you're not on YouTube and you're listening, this like stone facade with
Right.
like literally torpedo like
It looks- yeah.
5 like torpedo like almost like chimney or a fireplace opening things.
Circular.
yeah.
For graves, and then
With
above
headstones.
it goes into the hill, and above it there's a ventilation or some kind of small chimney type thing
Yeah, pipe coming out to
that they're
allow-
gonna talk to us
and it's
through,
built
or what,
into
Steve?
the hill.
well, that's for him to breathe. So that's so that the people buried there, if they're buried before death, that they can stay alive. And in fact,
So they're not buried in caskets.
I don't think so. In
They just-
fact, they're buried with some supplies like bread and water and an axe.
Yeah.
And you can open the crypts from the inside. So if you live in Williamsport and the zombie apocalypse is happening, get the heck away from the Pursel crypts because they can get out a lot easier.
Right.
And they're going to have weapons.
And they're going to have
provisions.
And provisions.
They're like, I already ate. I'm good.
Yeah, I had
This
the
guy
bread.
left me bread.
I got this moldy bread here. So we had
And
to
what
check it
year
out.
was this made about, do you think?
Well, I know Thomas Pursel dies in 1939. So at least it goes back to 1930.
Wow.
And is it
so-
haunted then?
No, it's just extremely creepy. And if
Yeah.
I'm taking you to a haunted site and they have an extremely creepy grave, I'm taking you there.
I didn't
enough.
think that it was still a fear in the 1930s to be buried alive. Like, I knew that in, like, the 1800s.
Oh.
That's, like, where the bells on the toes and, like, you know.
Listen, anyone that reads Edgar Allan Poe works, you know, they're going to be afraid of being buried alive.
But I didn't, in the 1930s.
I mean, it's still happening in the 1930s where people still retain that fear.
It is a horrible idea.
Yeah, it'd be a horrible way to go. So,
He was a Mason also.
Oh, for
yeah,
sure.
he was a Mason. Good research there.
It's on the picture, so.
Yeah, you can kind of
that's
see it
cheating.
right there on the headstone.
So, fairies. Let's get to the fairies.
I digress.
I digress.
Oh, fairy.
Supposedly, fairies
Hey,
are
hey,
seen,
hey.
and they're seen on visible or clear nights.
Where?
On the east side.
On the
right?
east
At
side.
this grave?
Yeah,
the
no,
whole
in the
cemetery.
whole cemetery.
Oh.
So now I have a debunking episode.
What do you
thing
mean by.
here.
Okay.
I'm gonna debunk this.
Well, first, what do you mean by fairies? Lights?
Like little, like Tinker freaking
Sprites.
bells, sprites,
Tinker
Freaking
freaking bells.
Yeah.
Sprites.
sprites,
7-Ups. Starry.
a
whatever
little
they
thing-
call it nowadays.
A little thing with wings. You
Mellow
know, I don't know.
yellow.
Yeah.
I've never personally seen.
Never
a fairy.
seen one. Don't want to.
Yeah, but I think it's just the history.
bells.
Getting-
Yeah, he's all pissed over there.
This is
Not that.
You're all worked up about this Tinker freaking bells. I'm just
Okay.
kidding. I'm just kidding.
No. Well, I mean, like that. Like I could go into the lore of like fairies. Like people say that if you see a ring of mushrooms,
Right.
that's a
fairy
fairy
ring.
ring, and it shows
is.
that shows that that's where
'Cause
they
it
were
is,
dancing.
Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
You're going to debunk
Fairies are
this?
you're
real.
like Steve. Do not. I could debunk the mushrooms.
I like mushrooms.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take it away from you. I don't want to.
It's like trendy nowadays.
I don't want to take away your dreams and ruin your.
Oh, you're not going to hurt my feelings.
So, but supposedly the fairy rings, like the mushrooms, especially when they grow, they can't occupy the same area that they once were. So the rings every season start getting larger and larger.
Oh.
And they essentially become a giant ring of
mushrooms.
mushrooms. So that's the scientific reason why they
Right.
exist. But I'm
Do you
not
know what
saying
the,
the fairies
Big
don't
fan of
exist.
mushrooms?
Well, I'm a big study of mycologists.
I don't know what that means.
She's a fun guy.
Thank you. No, it's people who study mushrooms.
I like a lot of mushrooms.
They're scary.
Yeah.
I'm
Ten
sorry.
mushrooms
I
in,
think
I think it's
they're-
bloom. They're great.
Otherworldly and very cool, and I think a lot more research needs to be
Oh my
gone
gosh,
into.
they say cool stuff with mushrooms.
Yeah.
Well,
Very
you know
cool.
the lion's mane
You've heard
mushroom?
about
Right?
zombie ants, right?
Yeah, that's the scary
What's that
part.
show?
Oh no!
No,
it's
no,
not
no,
a show.
it's a real
this is
thing.
real
Zombie
thing.
what?
Zombie ants.
Zombie ants is as an
It's
ant
real.
gets infected by a mushroom,
Yeah.
and then the mushroom takes over the ant, and it makes it think that, hey, you want to go to the top of the blade of this piece of grass, and you want to bite down really hard and not
What?
move.
What?
And the ant will go to the top of the blade of the grass, and it will clamp down with its teeth so it can't be blown away.
Okay.
And then it dies.
It hangs on and dies.
And the mushroom breaks free through the skull of the ant. And because it's at a precarious position, it gets eaten by a bird or other creature and then pooped out. And then it continues its life cycle of infecting more ants.
Where?
So a mushroom is literally controlling
I
an
guarantee
ant.
it. What's that show? Left.
Oh yeah.
Lost of Us. Left of Us. Something. Anyway,
It's
definitely based
very
off
much
that.
a Resident Evil,
Mushrooms
but
are
that.
something, man.
Well, I think
hive
that's what,
mind
yeah,
stuff.
exactly. That's what
Mushrooms
they help
are
trees
crazy.
communicate with each other
They trigger
through
stuff in
the
our brains.
mushrooms.
Well, and like, yeah, we actually can experience that of plants communicating. Because when you cut your lawn, do you mow your own lawn?
Yeah.
Okay, you know that scent you get?
Now.
The scent of the grass cutting. Do you know that is the warning scent that the blades of grass are giving to the other grass to be like, holy crap, they're
You about
killing
to get
us.
cut.
Yeah.
Look out.
The death machine is on its way.
Yeah.
You know, so you're smelling
And we're
grass
like,
fear.
It's my favorite
yeah,
smell.
we love that smell.
Fresh cut grass.
Yeah,
is
you're
my
literally
favorite
That was
smell.
loving the
Hermione
smell of it.
Granger's
Fresh murdered
famous
grass.
smell.
Exactly. So
And parchment.
sometimes I know
Weird
we
knowledge.
deal with the supernatural and the weird things on society, but like sometimes the natural world is just as freaking
Oh,
scary.
yeah.
We don't know.
Maybe more so.
We don't
Exactly.
know.
There's so much out there.
We learn every day.
Now, here's where I debunk the fairies.
All right, debunk some fairies.
The civil engineer, John McMinn, laid out the grounds of the cemetery. And guess who he
Wildwood.
was assisted by?
Henry.
Close.
I don't know.
Mick Jagger.
Robert Fairies was his name. And I think it's people realize that Robert Fairies worked on this graveyard. People heard the word fairies.
Connotation.
Connected to the graveyard.
Yeah, it's
and
kind of
ultimately
easy.
it's just morphs into this
Okay.
story of
I hate that.
fairies. So
It's so cheap.
listen, I'm sorry. Sometimes facts
It's
suck.
just, it just takes away.
Yeah.
It does take away, but I'm going to give back. I don't just take away.
Are you going to talk
from
about
this.
banshees right now?
I am going to talk about banshees.
What?
How did I know
Randomly,
that?
you knew that?
Yeah.
So you,
I did a little
what have
bit
you
of
heard about
research.
the site, like with the
Yeah,
banshees?
just a little bit.
Just that there's a banshee.
I've heard that on the west side there's banshees,
Mm-hmm.
and that banshees are an Irish thing,
Correct.
and that
Tell me.
well, that's where banshees originated. Like
I
this
know about
Irish
banshees from
Supernatural,
no, from a TV show
called Supernatural.
when I was little. Something. It was an Irish thing.
Oh yeah,
I don't know. And the I don't know. I don't want. I
but
can't
there
think
was
of it.
a lot of like Irish miners probably buried in the bad side of the cemetery too.
There might be, yeah.
So that could be why there could be a banshee there.
And but banshees are known for what? Like screaming, high pitched
Screaming,
screams.
almost like Mothman too. It seems to be like they're almost like right before something really bad happens, is what I've heard it as.
a bear.
Darby O'Gill and the Little People. That's what it was.
Oh my God! Of course you
Remember
found
this
it.
movie?
I do
Nope.
not.
Never heard of it.
When I was little, I watched this movie. It has a banshee.
What's
in
it called?
Darby O'Gill and the Little People, 1959.
The Little People.
I seen it on TV.
They were
when I was-
ahead of their time.
And not only did it have that banshees, but it had like a ghost procession in the air. It was crazy.
Ooh.
That movie's crazy. If
Oh,
you know what
wow.
I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. You're also old,
Old.
if you know what I'm talking about. Yep.
Now, I'm not going to take away the banshee lore, but I think that if you look at, on say like MapQuest or and GPS the site,
Right.
and you look at it from a bird's eye view,
Yeah.
it is bordered.
Now I'm
by,
old, but I don't use MapQuest. I'm not that old, Steve. Jesus Christ.
Oh my God, I forgot. Yes, it's Google Maps, right? MapQuest. I'm like 30 freaking years old there. Well, if you look, the Loyalsock Creek runs to the west side of the graveyard. Okay, and what most people don't know is I don't think it's a banshee that's really haunting it.
Okay.
I think it's a girl named Sweet Cicely.
You think it's a person buried there?
I think there's a girl that was murdered along that creek named Sweet Cicely. And she is known as the Siren of the Loyalsock.
Oh.
Siren, similar to Banshee.
I have a picture
screaming,
of the creek
singing.
to kind of give you an idea.
All right, let me find it.
We did visit the creek. I didn't tell you
Yeah.
much why.
Yeah. I remember.
And
I remember.
the story hails back.
Oh, the creek. Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
first told by Henry Shoemaker
Yep, that one.
in his book called Tales of Bald Eagle Mountains in Central Pennsylvania.
Bald Eagle Mountain.
And the story is about Sweet Cicely. He refers to her story as simply the Siren. So it harkens back to Williamsport's lumber era days. So you're dealing with the 1800s.
That's where Williamsport really got his money.
Yeah, I mean,
Lumber industry.
Millionaires Row up there is all from the lumber region.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
Hiawatha
wasn't
boat
They
ride
really
talks
created
about
some
the lumber
industry
era.
for Williamsport, yeah.
So most of the wood that was lumbered there was floated down the Susquehanna. Now, the Loyalsock Creek that borders the cemetery, people did, take logs down it, but it was very treacherous. You could get hurt on this because there were rocky spots.
Sure.
If you didn't pay attention, you could die.
Rolling logs.
So, along this creek, the siren would sing. So, what's the stories of the siren? The Sweet Cicely was ultimately who was murdered along this creek.
Okay.
She lived in a cabin with her parents.
Okay.
Along the Loyalsock. And her father's name was Powderhorn.
Her last name?
First name.
The first name, Powderhorn.
First name, her father's
I'm
name
already
is
gonna put
Powderhorn.
Was
I'm
his
already
last
feeling like
name
punching you.
Cicely?
No,
So-
she's just called
I'm just
Sweet
kidding.
Cicely. Her
Right,
name
that's-
is just Cicely.
Sweet Cicely. Way
And her
different than
mom's name is
Powderhorn.
Right.
Maggie Sue.
Doesn't
Now,
Powderhorn doesn't that upset you?
It makes me a little angry.
It
like there's
upsets
no
me. I don't know what it is about that name, but
exclamation.
don't
Well,
do
they're-
that.
Okay.
explanation. I mean,
to clue you in,
that's a
they're-
powder horn
they're-
for a gun, right? You know,
They're Native American.
oh, well, that makes much more
It's
sense.
not a real name. It's like
Yeah, these are Native Americans, and Native Americans could sometimes switch their names.
fair
yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
Okay, rock and roll. Then Powderhorn kills. I love it.
So
My new favorite name.
Don't you feel bad?
So
It's my new
she was.
favorite. I know.
I'm just
I feel
kidding.
great
I'm
now.
just kidding.
Cicely was a very beautiful girl. And all the guys wanted her, but she avoided the advances of almost all the men.
And maybe some females.
Exactly, except for one Indian youth, a guy named Wild William Winters.
Nice job.
So Wild
Yeah.
William Winters, and I don't know why he has the moniker Wild. So he must have
I
been
don't know why
great.
they
Yeah.
do. Wow, what?
Yeah.
But this guy, I guess, worked across the water on the farm of a guy named Ezra McGrady.
Okay.
And so she would supposedly sit along the Loyalsock Creek
Okay.
and sing, waiting for him to come get a visit from her lover.
Adorable.
When he was done with his work on the farm,
Yeah.
he would cross the Loyalsock and spend time with his love.
And sing songs the whole way.
Well, she was singing songs to pass the time,
I would
and
sing
they were
songs
just very
back at you, my
sweet.
love.
So, while she's sitting on the water's edge one day, some lumbermen are coming down on their raft.
Yeah, they are.
Okay.
And they heard the sweet song, and they rode towards
They heard her
Sicily.
singing,
They heard her singing.
and they're like, ooh, wee.
Yeah.
And then they get to her. They see this beautiful Indian woman.
Yeah.
So what do? They assaulted her.
Of course.
What do they do? Rape and pillage.
Yeah.
That's what
And they strangled her
First
to
thought.
death.
we do. And murder.
Now, William
Murder,
Winters
death, kill.
had heard her screams.
Shout out Demolition Man.
Exactly. So he is running to try to get to Sicily.
Aww.
And by the time he gets to her, she's already dead.
Aw, that's
And the murderer has escaped.
because he's got all the time
It's
in the
like
world.
the 1800s, whatever.
He's like, we got at least 3 or 4 hours till this guy comes back.
So the next, the family, her body's taken to her parents' home, and
That's super
her Native
sad.
American parents go to the Williamsport officials and say, "We want retribution. She was killed by these raftsmen."
Mm-hmm.
They had the word of William Winters to say, what he saw. And they said, there's no way a white guy did this. So they were going to actually charge William Winters with her murder.
And they're like, we got
course.
ring cameras. Hello.
Yeah.
Watch
we-
this shit.
So ultimately,
Horseshoe cameras.
she is not avenged.
Yeah.
So you get to the next spring. And
She doesn't.
Cicely's song has started to be heard again along the Loyalsock
Oh.
Creek.
And this creek is right near the cemetery.
And it's right, it borders the cemetery.
Right.
And essentially, if the men go towards where she's singing, they will be lured to their deaths because she will guide them into the rocks.
So it is like a siren type thing.
So it is a
Banshee type
siren.
thing.
So she
That's
lures
the Banshee
these
lore,
men.
right?
Well, Banshee is more screaming.
A banshee's more screaming, but
Yeah.
I'm wondering
mermaids,
if
though.
there's
But mermaids,
similarities.
They call you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, kind of
agree.
like a mermaid, like
oh, I need help, but
Yeah.
never kill you.
Yeah.
yeah.
Ooh,
So-
remember the mermaids in Harry Potter, by the way? They were scary.
Oh, they
In
were.
the movies. The Harry Potter movies.
Is that how mermaids really are?
They're
Well,
scary.
there are very dark legends like that. They take you down under the water to their saffron caves and they eat you.
We should
That's
It's not like the
a
Little Mermaid where
episode.
you end up marrying the girl. You are literally the Happy
great
Meal,
song.
Yeah, no.
you know,
Disney's gonna
of
sue us for it.
mermaids. You know,
We
so
might have to do a
sailors
mermaid
didn't have
episode.
high.
But banshees, sirens, mermaids, all probably
But
along
basically, the
similar lore.
similarities
Yeah,
are basically
right?
women in water, is what I'm seeing.
Yeah, now,
luring you in
I didn't tell you much
Yeah.
about this because
with seashells.
Basically,
Adorning
women
their
can't be
upper parts.
trusted, and
yeah, I mean,
You know, that's
a lot of
basically
books,
what-
a lot of books are like that. I mean, try to
That's
find a woman you
annoying.
can trust in the Bible. I
Right.
mean, good luck.
Word.
You know, it's
Ruth,
just not.
Bathsheba. I don't know.
I mean, most of them are.
I think
have
Ruth.
dark. Ruth. I mean, yeah, but she
Did
kind
you
of
read
like.
Ruth?
I read a fantastic book called The Red Tent,
Yeah.
and it's, I learned a lot.
interesting.
Yeah, I learned
It's
a lot.
interesting. I
but
don't
it
know
was
if I could trust
probably 20 years
the
ago
whole
that
thing.
I
Is
read
can you
it.
trust anything? Yeah,
No,
we're
you
on,
can't.
We're on a different.
You can't
yeah.
trust any of it, but
But supposedly, Sweet Cicely's song is no longer sung.
Sweet Cicely.
Bum, bum, bum. Okay,
Uh,
so
I don't think that's
she actually lured one of these raftsmen to his death, and they decided to bury him near the spot
She's metal, man.
where she was murdered. And once when they're digging the hole to bury this guy, they hear Sweet Cicely singing.
I love
during
this
the whole
story.
time.
This is my favorite so far.
yeah,
And,
you like this one a lot?
I like it,
When the last shovelful of dirt covers
especially
this
because
raftsman,
it's like sweet Cicely.
ba, ba,
Yep,
ba.
that's what they're singing every time.
Yeah, that's what we'll tell
That's
the
what
people
she's
of Williamsport.
like.
She's
That's what
singing
they're
it.
hearing.
That's where it started. It started 200 years ago. You don't know.
Right? He just ripped
And
it
Neil
off.
Diamond just ripped
it
Cicely
off from
Poor
the
Neil Diamond
lore.
got associated with it, and this is where we are
we
today.
can pick on Neil Diamond because he's got dementia and he'll never know it, right?
Do not pick on Neil Diamond. I will hurt you.
Oh, God.
Or dementia.
Oh, well, true. All right. With the last shovelful of dirt, the song ends and she stops singing.
Oh,
So we will not hear of Sweet Cicely, but Henry Shoemaker, the guy that writes down this story, he is known honestly as a fake lorist.
Fake lore.
He takes folklore
Opposed to folklore.
and he either writes folklore, he saves folklore tales, but some people accuse him of fake lore. So I always take his stories and try to break them apart. Like,
Yeah.
is there real aspects to it? And so I started looking up William Winters. There are 71 people buried at Wildwood Cemetery with the last name Winters.
oh wow.
3 of those Winters are named William Winters. There's a William A. Winters, a William F. Winters, and a William O. Winters.
Okay, we're narrowing it down.
And in
William Jingle Winters.
1700s,
William Triwingles.
there is, in the history of Williamsport, a William Winters purchased 278 acres
That's probably him.
in Williamsport. And he was the brother-in-law of Hawkins Booth, brother of Daniel Boone.
What?
He married
Okay.
Anne Boone in 1747 in Virginia.
What? Was he really married to the brother of, or the what?
He was married to Anne Boone in
Sister
1747.
of Daniel Boone.
And she died in Williamsport in 1771.
That's a real thing.
No kidding.
That's a real thing. So
Never knew that.
I honestly
Again,
do
Steve,
think
You
You
know?
blow my mind, Steve.
Yeah.
that William.
Glad to have you.
I think William Winters was a real person.
Yeah.
You know?
Sounds like it.
Well, yeah, without
I
many.
think there's evidence that he was a real guy. But that's not even my favorite part of the Wildwood Cemetery stories. You know, we have banshees, we have fairies, we have a guy that's afraid of being buried
Saltwater
alive.
taffy.
Saltwater taffy.
Ferris
we got
wheels.
macaroons. My favorite
Just kidding.
story
We're not in New Jersey.
there is actually about this girl. Do either of you? Do either of you know this girl?
Well, yes, because you told us.
I told.
He showed us a picture of
Yeah.
this.
So we have a
Creepy
picture
child.
of Nellie
It is
Tallman.
a very, I don't know, kind of unsettling picture.
To be her age and be that pudgy, something's wrong.
Listen, how do
How
we
old
know?
is she?
She is 3 years old.
Okay, she's not. Okay, then,
Then
I'm
that's-
just kidding. I'm just
no,
judging.
but to sit and wear that kind of outfit.
I'm sorry.
Something's
Brian,
weird.
Fat shaming a 3-year-old, not a
Dude,
good
it's
look.
not. I'm not
Right?
fat shaming the pudge part. Look at
Screw
this.
you.
You know what? Up in Williamsport,
I like a fat
I'm
baby.
I'm
Don't
wondering
get me
if
wrong.
we ate at a pizza
They're more
shop called
tender.
Pudgy's.
They eat good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're more
they
tender.
heat up. Air fryer.
Maybe Pudgy's is named after Nellie Tallman.
Oh,
Just saying.
dude, just saying.
Okay, that girl is actually buried in the Wildwood Cemetery.
This little girl.
She is.
And she
Die
died
at
at
that
3?
age?
Yeah, thank you.
She died at the age of 3.
Right. No.
It was like some
we were in
stereo.
sync. Yeah.
But if you want to see the actual painting, not just my miniature, you can go to the Thomas T. Tabard Museum up in Williamsport. They have it on display.
Mm-hmm.
But the part about this girl's death is what's really
Her
sad.
name is what?
Nellie Tallman.
Nellie Tallman. I remember that name.
And she lived at 122 Market Street in Williamsport. Don't bother looking at it. The house is no longer the same.
That's weird.
It's been torn down. And her parents were John and Louisa Tallman. And John was taking painting lessons from a guy named, this is the best name, Siren Rosen.
Ooh, that's a Harry Potter.
Severin.
name.
So close to
Severin.
Harry
Right?
Potter. Yeah.
So Severin is more known for his paintings
good name.
of like
Severin.
flower still lifes type of things.
Sixerin.
Van
Yeah.
Gogh.
Iverin.
And he's teaching John, her dad, how to paint.
Yeah.
So
With paint.
At the age of 3, she sits in this pose on top of a stool, and her dad starts painting her.
Okay.
And it would be the death of her.
And it would be the death of her.
This would be the last
On
time.
December
anybody-
5th, 1870, that little girl fell off her stool
While being painted?
while being painted and broke her neck
No,
and died.
No.
Again with the neck breakings.
I'm
What's up with
sorry.
the neck breaking?
He's like,
This
I'm
is a
sorry.
neck breaking
Girl.
kind of
Can't be
day.
avoided.
So
neck breakings
he
happen.
hadn't finished the painting, so he obviously then
So after her death, he finishes the painting in his
shot.
grief.
That's so weird.
So,
Ew,
but
did he pose her
It gets worse.
after she died?
That's why she looks weird.
Did
it
he
wasn't my
pose
fault.
her after she died?
No, he
Right?
he kept painting her, but
From memory.
From memory, he also had other paintings of her.
He filled in the blanks.
If you go to the Thomas Tabard Museum,
That's why she's so chubby. He's painting a 3-year-old as if she was like a year old. Do you know what I
Maybe.
mean?
Yeah, okay, that
He's
could
using an
explain it.
old. How many
Then again,
paintings did she
there can
have?
be
I've seen
chubby
another
3-year-olds.
painting of her at the Thomas Tabard Museum. If you go in, and right where the gift shop is, off to the left-hand side, you can see another portrait of Nellie Tallman.
And-
But that one's not haunted. This one is.
Yeah, this one's haunted.
Because
And-
that's the one that
And by
he was-
haunted, I mean
Well, what happens is her father
See, what
finishes the painting.
was-
John hangs up the painting in his house.
Yeah.
And it won't stay on the damn wall. It keeps falling off the wall. So John relegates the painting of Nellie Tallman to the attic where it's stored. Later generations of the family are clearing out the house and they find the original painting of Nellie Tallman.
Okay.
And they know the family lore that this painting won't stay hung. So they donated to the Thomas Tabard Museum.
So
What?
they're like, we don't want this. Please take it from
Yeah.
us.
Do you find it hard to believe they don't want that
No,
creepy painting?
I do the same thing.
I'd probably get rid of it.
Yep, gone.
So they donated. They probably got money for donating it. It's
Oh,
a tax
yeah,
write-off.
true story.
So the Thomas Tabard Museum hangs the painting up. And the first night it's hung up,
Yeah.
a car drives into the museum and it falls off
Car
the wall.
drives into the museum.
It wrecks into the museam. The painting falls.
Just so happens, the very first night that it's hung up there,
Yeah.
A car drives into the museum and it falls.
And the falling painting falls.
That's a little weird.
So, like, they have to have the painting restored so that they can hang it back up. So, they they hang it back up after it's restored. You know, they get it back. After it's restored, they hang it back up, and every night they would find it off the wall and sitting on the floor. It was also seen that if you go there today, there's a couch underneath it.
To catch it.
And the couch would be sitting on the freaking couch.
Did it have a glass pane in front of it to protect it?
It does not.
Yeah, because it would get broken every night, right? If it's getting...
The phenomenon was only stopped when the Thomas Tavern Museum had a painting by Siren hung opposite of Nellie Tallman.
Okay.
So that Siren is the teacher of her father, the one who led to him painting.
They just randomly did this.
Well, I mean, having one of his works is an amazing thing. For one, his artwork. Snape,
yes.
Severin. Snape Rosin.
Okay.
His artwork is actually
Snape Rosin's a badass name, dude.
I know, right?
Just saying.
His artwork hangs in the White House. He is highly revered.
Snape Rosin?
No, Severin Rosin. But yes, Snape Rosin.
Okay.
But when they hang this painting of his up in opposite of Nellie Tallman, for whatever reason, Nellie Tallman's portrait stops falling off the wall.
Oh. Okay.
So it's an interesting...
Like we balanced it somehow. Don't question it. Just...
And the museum really...
And when was that? I'm sorry,
I don't know the date of, like, it stopped following. I think somewhere in the 70s or 80s.
So maybe it could just be like the building structures got more sound. Or, you know what I mean?
People stopped driving into the damn museum.
Yeah, like,
you never know.
It could just be...
Yeah, it could be
like,
other, whatever.
But for whatever reason...
Done.
It's done. So it's just an interesting side note about this. But the museum really... They play it up. They have a pin of Nellie Tallman and the haunted portrait. You can buy postcards of the haunted portrait.
Good for them. I like that when they play into it.
You know, like...
I hate when they're like, we don't do that.
But the thing is, they know it's the draw of their museum, which their museum's really cool. But if you go to their museum, it's literally one of the last rooms you get to see. Mm-hmm. Is the Nellie Tallman portrait. Oh, okay. It's like a Victorian parlor.
Well, why wouldn't you? You would hold it for last too, right?
And what about it is, like, what happens, like, the haunting? What's haunted about it?
It's the fact that it's a painting of a dead 3-year-old that broke her neck.
Right. Does she move? Do, like, people smell things?
No, it's just the fact that the painting does not stay where it's supposed to.
It doesn't stay there. There's
That's
more, like, ghosts or
no
orbs.
Ghosts. And then the last thing I have about Wildwood Cemetery is the fact that... not oddly enough, in the 1910 to 1918, between the cemetery and the Loyalsock Creek, where Cicely would hang out with her lover, was actually the Lover's Lane back then.
Oh.
And back there was, along that Lover's Lane, was a nice little picnic spot that they would all go to and eat picnic foods, you know, pies, whatnot. And
that's pretty cool.
There was a cave along that path. Mm-hmm. That was called Devil's Cave.
Okay.
And
of course.
Supposedly...
Little Devil's Cave.
In
Devil's Lair, Devil's Cave.
1889, a story arisen about this cave saying that gigantic skeletons were found in the cave with relics, according to an article that was published in the September issue.
Is he saying giants?
I did say giants, in the Williamsport Grit. Now, unfortunately, this was a hoax.
Oh.
But you cannot go to the... I didn't take you to the Devil's Cave because so many kids would go there and try to hook up or, you know... Whatever they do when they hang out.
Go full nacho.
Go full nacho in the cave. They end up blocking off the cave, so you can't even get into the cave anymore.
Right.
But, So that, my friends,
But you know I believe in giants, right?
I do. That's why I had to throw this in there.
I fully believe that giants were on this planet.
Well, I mean,
You can call me crazy. There are a lot of crazy things that I believe in.
I will say this: just because we live so close to Sunbury, that Captain John Smith, you know who that guy is, right? You
I know the name, yeah.
Hooking up with little young Pocahontas,
Sure.
13-year-old, whatever. He is actually the first guy that talks or describes the Susquehannock tribe in the
Yeah.
1500s. And when he describes them, he says they're giants.
Huh.
He
Compared
says
to
they're
him?
like, well, yeah, he says they're like 7 foot tall,
No
8 foot tall.
kidding.
So, like, one of the images that is used a lot for Chief Shikellamy is Captain John Smith's image that he drew of the Susquehannock, because Chief Shikellamy, that's one of the tribes people think he was a Susquehannock.
So he's super huge in that picture.
Supposedly, yeah.
But I've also heard that about Chief Shikellamy, is that he was a big dude.
He might have been, but he wasn't a violent guy. He didn't have.
Right. Just
He
big.
was an Indian or Native American chief of peace.
Right.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's
So
interesting too that like the Susquehanna is like one of the oldest, or if not the oldest, river on the planet,
it is.
and then like that would be like where
That's a weird
giants
thing.
were from. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
kind of interesting little
It's
correlation.
weird to think that same body of water
formed
there
on
were-
Pangea
there were dinosaurs that would have drank out of that,
and pissed in it.
In that same water.
which is why I don't drink out of this.
Right. Dinosaur pee. Everybody knows that.
Oh man, you know how much fish pee is in all water?
Yeah.
All water.
All water is
I don't
pee in
drink
it.
water. Fish have sex
I'm in
in
the
it.
ocean. That's fish pee, man. That's a lot of different fish's pees.
Yeah, right.
Fish
And
is
on
pieces.
that note, if you like what we're doing, like and subscribe to our
Wait,
channel.
we didn't talk about pizza.
Oh, we didn't talk to. I'll still talk about like and subscribe.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're
I thought
good.
you were. All right, I thought you
No,
were-
don't
wasn't up there.
subscribe until
Like
we
and
do the
subscribe
pizza
our
review.
stuff.
Yeah.
Please comment on this video. Like if you like what we're doing. Tell us what we need to do or better or whatever.
Yeah.
Is there
And
anything
now
else
we're
going on, Steve?
No, that's about all I have for the Wildwood Cemetery in Williamsport, Pennsylvania.
I do remember this day. It was a long time ago.
It was a long
Yeah,
time ago.
it's one of our very first trips, I think.
Did we have a recommendation or we picked Park Pizza? Park Pizza is where we ended up. Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Steve? I'm just going to go out on a limb and say you didn't like this pizza.
Park
Okay.
Pizza. Which
You gave it a
one was this?
2.0 out of 5.
Oh, damn.
2.0!
I feel bad if I would
Steve?
remember the place.
Dear Park Pizza, we apologize for whatever's coming next. Wasn't
a long time
fan
ago.
of cheese, but I liked it that the cheese went all the way to the crust.
Okay, so
Would you
there's
like
a
that?
good positive.
Yeah.
Last thing he said was ghost, which means he's ghosting this place.
Again, this
which
was
means he ain't
early
going
on.
back.
Yeah, that
2.0
means I
out
was-
of 5?
Yeah, that's
You
not a
don't
good
get
score.
that wrong. Christy,
No,
Yeah.
you like this one.
No way.
3.0 out of 5.
Oh.
You
Kinda
liked
right there in the
sauce.
middle.
Tasted more like a homemade sauce, you said.
Oh, yeah.
Cheese was good. Pepperoni was under the cheese, and I prefer the pepperoni on top. I might drive by haunt, is what you said.
Okay.
Might
did
drive by haunt in this place.
Is this the one that was on the corner and we kind of like ate outside?
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, now I'm
Pepperoni was
remembering it.
under the cheese. That does happen.
Yeah, and that prevents the pepperoni from getting crispy.
Whole different thing.
And it just like the grease
I don't
flavor
hate it.
goes.
It's just a different
It depends. It
Oh,
depends
that
on
might be that
everything.
would explain why I didn't like that.
Yeah.
It's a different thing.
The pepperoni was under the cheese so that like the pepperoni grease just got into
Blah.
all the
Park
Yeah.
Pizza in Williamsport. I gave it a 2.5. Aw, damn. You know what I
That's
said?
crazy for me to give a higher
I
review
said
than you
pizza
two.
was okay. Pizza was okay.
Wow.
Which means I'll eat it because I'm Ryan. I'll eat pizza.
Right.
I like the crust. That's it. Whole review was I like the crust.
Wow. Our reviews have definitely gotten better over time.
Right.
Probably
right.
probably ghost. No, I think part of it was that we did not like this pizza.
Yeah, we couldn't probably think of
Yeah,
too
we
many
also
good things to
we
say.
don't like to blast
Sure.
any
Fair enough.
place because obviously any pizza shop. I mean, it could be the first day of the
Sure.
new cook. So like
It could be a different experience each time.
exactly. So
Yeah. I get it. You're being diplomatic. But let me tell
Yeah.
you this right now. If we were on a 10 scale, like Barstool's rules, Christy gave it a 6, which is okay. 6 is fine.
Yeah.
The rest of us, less than 6.
That's never good.
It's not good. I'm sorry. Park Pizza, not a great experience. Step it up, yo.
They were nice enough, though.
They were nice.
inside.
Every place is always nice to
yeah.
us. They're super nice to us.
Yeah, nothing to complain about with the service or the staff or anything.
No, but the pizza,
Yeah.
as far as what we've got
Yeah, we
on the
weren't
lower
doing
end
it.
so
Yeah.
far. Hey, rock and roll.
Yeah, other than that.
Is what it is.
You know what? We
Yeah.
ate it. And honestly, 2.5 for me is like, I'll eat a whole pie of that. It's me. I'll eat a whole pie.
Like 2.5, that's doable.
That's doable. It's not a 0, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever given a 0, though.
Oh my God.
I don't think we've ever
we
even given
never
a
do.
1.
If I eat a 0,
Maybe the Altoona pizza might be the one.
this
Altoona pizza.
breaded Altoona, we're going to do it one of these days.
We got to do it.
We're
Yeah.
going there and we'll eat it.
This is like at least the 3rd time we've talked about it.
Well, not only that, but there are memes of Altoona pizza on Facebook.
It's a bad thing.
That I keep
Yeah.
getting sent to me because of being part of this podcast.
We got to do it soon.
people
though.
are like,
I
you
like
gotta
that
try
they
this.
attack you with it. That's
Yeah.
pretty funny.
Yeah, I'm being attacked with Altoona pizza. I have to get this off my back. You know,
We got to do it.
That's it for today.
that's it for today.
Well, we had a great time. And like I said, again, like, subscribe, comment, tell us what we need to do better. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is you do, hit us up.
And join us next time you crave a slice of the paranormal.
Sounds good.
This podcast was produced by Stone State Entertainment.